Well, everyone, it's been a very long time, but I'm back. I had a job that was just taking up all of my time, and by all my time, I mean literally 12, 15 hours some days, living in a place that was just hell on earth. And my laptop, man, I kept buying refurbished laptops and they'd stop working within like 2 weeks. One of them I plugged in to record a video and the screen just went from like a little spark. But in January, I'll be getting a job that takes up much less of my time. I start on the 5th of January, living in a much nicer, quieter place by myself. And things are going well, so let's get back to this channel, try and see if we can crank out a video or two a week. And this is a video I wanted to make 3 years ago, 3 years ago, when Anthony Yarde lost to Beterbiev, right? And the reason is I was so frustrated in watching the way Anthony Yarde has had his career managed. And he is solely to blame. You can say Frank Warren, Tunde, whoever, lots of people blame it on Tunde. And yeah, it's his guidance. But Anthony Yarde is his own man. And he, after the Kovalev fight, he should have known to correct course. After the, Lyndon Arthur, after the first fight with him, he should have known to correct course. But he didn't. And now we're looking at him suffering another devastating knockout loss. Now, for those who don't know, basically what they've done is they've said Anthony Yarde has no amateur experience, so let's pad out his record with loads of journeymen. Journeymen meaning fighters who are, of no real level, right? Not very good. Build up his confidence and his experience. And then they go and fight an aging champion in Sergey Kovalev, but still a very good fighter. They fight him in his backyard in Russia, right? In Chelyabinsk. And Anthony Yarde, for the first half of that fight, put up a good fight. He pushed Kovalev, he surprised a lot of people, and he fought better than his experience would suggest he would fight. He eventually gassed out and got stopped with a jab. Sort of no shame in the jab thing, but, a fighter with better experience probably wouldn't have gassed out, especially being the younger man. But he did, he got knocked out, and it's a learning process, right? He then fights, I think it was a couple journeymen, then fights a British guy, level guy called Lyndon Arthur. And effectively, Anthony Yarde fought the completely wrong game plan and lost on points. At that point, he should have been 100% adamant he needs to drop Tunde Ajayi because Tunde came up with the wrong game plan to beat Lyndon Arthur. He doesn't drop him. He goes and fights Arthur again and stops. Gets a stoppage, if I'm not mistaken. Has a couple nothing fights and then fights Artur Beterbiev, right? And it's in Anthony Yarde's hometown this time. It's in Wembley. Fights Beterbiev, gets stopped. And people were singing the praises of the game plan and how well Anthony Yarde fought. And I just remember commenting, no, he has fought a better champion. He now has home advantage and he got stopped earlier than when he fought an older champion. He fought a better fighter and lost in a worse manner. And people just couldn't see it. They're just acting like nothing's wrong. And it's frustrating because if you have little amateur experience, you shouldn't be padding your record with nothing fights. Start with the nothing fights, 10, 20 of them, fine. Then go to the regional, then the British, then the European, and then the world levels. You just take a little bit longer at each level. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you need to make a jump, but you don't jump from fighting a guy with 30 losses to fighting a world champion, especially one like Beterbiev, who was dominant and very, not in his prime, maybe 2 years removed, but very close to it. And even Kovalev wasn't that far removed from his prime. And now he's gone in there and fought David Benavidez, fought totally the wrong fight again, and got absolutely thrashed. And if he had just gone through the levels, accepted, okay, I might take a loss here and there, but, by the time I get to world level, I'll be ready. He's done the same thing, fought nothing fight, gone in there against a world champion, if not at his prime, approaching his prime, and just had the crap kicked out of him, you know. And this is a guy who was jumping up in division, Benavidez. He hasn't long been at light heavyweight. What's it been, a year and a half? It's so frustrating. You know, fighters of the future need to take note here. If Anthony Yarde had fought several tall people who throw punches in bunches, throws combinations with the same hand, like you watch Benavidez, he'll throw like 4 right uppercuts, 5 left hooks, you know, very unpredictable. If he'd fought somebody like that before, okay, they wouldn't have been as good, but he would have known not to try and box this guy on the back foot. Tunde has got a guy who's built like a bodybuilder, right, trying to fight like Floyd Mayweather. It worked for Mayweather because of a few reasons. Mayweather has been boxing literally since he was in a high chair. Literally, his dad said he would take him down to the boxing gym and get him to hit a bag when he was a baby. Like, he said after like 6 months, Mayweather just started instinctively punching this bag. He's got the reflex, he's got the arm length, he's slender built, so when he turns to the side, there's very little body there. And it works quite well against the lighter weight divisions because your head's smaller, you know, easier to move your head, get away from it. Anthony Yarde isn't built for that at all. Don't get me wrong, you can employ it sometimes and elements of it. But he should have been on the front foot trying to push Benavidez back. And it doesn't mean he would have won if he'd done that. It doesn't mean he'd have won if he'd built himself up and learnt his craft fighting actual good fighters. But he would have given himself a better chance. And this isn't me being an armchair critic. This is me saying you can't go from fighting a guy with literally no consequential wins to beating a world champion. Like, some of these guys, I could get records better than some of these guys. I'm not saying, like, I'm better than the guys Yarde's fought. But, like, these are journeymen with, like, 10, 20 losses and, like, 3 wins. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous the way he's managed his career. And it's his fault. He has bought into this cultish mindset of Tunde knows best and, oh, he's going to guide me. Use some common sense, man. You are not going to beat these prime world champions after having taken on a load of journeymen. It's just not going to happen. You know, Mike Tyson didn't do that. Mike Tyson had more amateur experience than you, was a better talent than you are. Mike Tyson didn't do that. He took on 25 fights in the space of, 2 years? But he went through 10, 15 journeymen, then started fighting national level and then sort of fringe contenders. It's just so frustrating to see somebody with this talent, this ability to possibly be a world champion, to make himself a ton of money, do well in the sport. And every time he's stepped up, he's just been beaten from pillar to post. The only time he hasn't been beaten pillar to post is when he jumped up to British level from, you know, like journeyman level to British level. And even then it took him, you know, losing in the first fight to realise he got the game plan wrong. This is so frustrating, especially when you hear, you know, Anthony Yarde doesn't spar hard. And I understand to an extent doing that because you need to preserve yourself. But where's he getting the experience from? Because even if he's fought somebody who replicates Benavidez in sparring, for 200, 250 quid a day, they ain't going to go hell for leather because they want to be brought back in, you know, to the sparring. And they're like, if I beat the crap out of Anthony Yarde here, he's not going to bring me in and I ain't getting paid. The frustration. Did this guy actually believe this would work? Did Tunde believe this would work? Because I've heard some stories from people who are actually trained under Tunde saying how obsessed he is with Mayweather. Oh, he'll do the Mayweather pad work and, you know, and the hard work, dedication, but he won't do the stuff that actually made Money Mayweather. And one of them is he fought through the ranks. You know, he very quickly got through journeyman because he was already a medalist in the Olympics. Fought some national level guys, a fringe contender or two, then went to the world champions. Jesus, I mean, imagine replicating somebody so much and not going, instead of getting this Poundland watered down version of Mayweather and his coaches, I'll just go to the Mayweather gym. He could have just gone to the Mayweather gym, been managed by Mayweather, right? And you know what? Mayweather probably would have told him, this style isn't going to be for you, and it definitely ain't going to be for you in every single fight. He probably would have trained him totally different. That's the funny thing. And if he'd taught him the Mayweather method of fighting, he'd have learned it better. He'd have learned it from the horse's mouth rather than fucking bloody Tunde, you know. Yeah, there's no silver lining to this other than, you know, fighters of the future, take heed. Anthony Yarde's management style, it's just ridiculous. You're not going to carve out a legacy. You're not going to maximize earnings by doing what he's just done. He's taken 3 big paydays, and he's lost in all of them. You know, we'll see what he can do against, say, Callum Smith, you know, people of his level, you know, British fighters. Although Callum Smith, still an argument that he's world level, right? But we'll see what he can do if he gets in the ring with them, or is he going to fight bum after bum? I hate to call people bums, but, you know, journeyman after journeyman, wait for an organisation to give him a ranking and then go get beaten up again. Is that what he's going to do? I really hope not, but I wanted to make this video 2-3 years ago warning him of this, but he's gone and done it again, you know. You know, the old saying, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Well, fool me thrice, I mean, there's no hope for you. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next one.